let's move on. We're going to talk next about another depressing topic, which is it appears that Gamescom is going to be canceled. They haven't canceled it yet, but they've already announced that they're going to be doing big digital initiatives, bigger than ever before, around Gamescom 2020. Gamescom goes down in August of every year. So if you look at where we're at right now, April, May, we're like 6 months away still from the date for Gamescom, but we're not 6 months away from people having to book flights and book hotels and for the publishers to start getting their booths built and start worrying about the logistics of the show. All that stuff is going down right now, which is why you saw E3 pull the plug so early, because it realized all this stuff's going to be put on hold and the logistical end of it just isn't going to happen. And I think
and anything that involves international travel is going to take longer to come back to normal. Like, there's a good chance that by the end of May, by the end of June, we're going to be kind of seeing most of the end of a lot of the really hard stay-at-home lockdown stuff.
Yeah.
But international travel is still going to have to be very closely monitored until there's a vaccine available, and that could be August next year at the earliest. And on top of that, you don't know how reticent people are going to be to fly in general. I mean, remember what happened
in go to a building with like 200,000 people all jammed
together. Remember the aftermath of 9/11, where people just wouldn't travel because they're afraid of terrorists. And this is a much more present danger than being one of the 1 out of 3 million flights that actually has a terrorist on board. I remember after December after 9/11, I took my girlfriend to Disneyland around Christmas, and there was no one on the plane.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't believe it.
I was on the East Coast when 9/11 happened, and I literally flew back like 2 days after 9/11, and it was me and 3 other people on the plane flying back to California. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever experienced. But I think the bigger question is, when are people going to be okay with being around 200,000 other people? Have you seen the crowd shots from Gamescom? It's crazy. Yeah. It's like a mosh pit of 200,000 people. And I hate to say this, but I'll be honest, as someone who's gone to a lot of these conventions, hygiene isn't always the first concern for a lot of these people. So
that's for sure.
I mean, let's be honest. Gamescom is one of the last places I would want to go, even 5 months, because here's what's going to happen. We're going to get the all clear and the go back to your normal lives thing. That virus is still going to be going around. So until that vaccine is out there, and God knows when that's going to happen, it's a risk still. Like, the risk will be lower, your chances of getting it will be lower, but then as you start to let your guard down and you start going around large groups of people again, the risk goes right back up, because all it takes is one person at Gamescom to have the virus, to infect literally. I mean, if you really look at it, that one person could end up infecting like 200,000 people. Not just the people at the show. Those people go home and they get their wife sick, or their husband sick, or their brother sick, or whatever. And then the brother gets his friends. I don't know. I just don't know when I see people feeling comfortable enough to start going to major conventions again. I just don't.
It'd be closer to 2 years from now, because you need the vaccine in place. You need the vaccine to be widely distributed. You're talking about 18 months minimum for vaccine with testing. That's August 2021, and then everybody has to get it, and then everybody has to feel comfortable again.
Yeah.
Which is a hard thing to do. Like you're talking about something that is going to leave a psychic wound on the species. Like,
yeah, you're right.
No one is going to be the same after that. It's going to infect how we think. Not infect, but it's going to impact how we think about interaction. Like handshakes might go away for a while.
Oh yeah.
Just in general. I saw an amazing tweet today where a guy was talking about being at home, working at home, and his 5-year-old got angry because he said he had to do work today, and his 5-year-old's crap he did yesterday, and he's like, I have to work today, it's Monday, and his 5-year-old yells at him, Monday isn't a real thing. And he's like, and I'm just still sitting here with that, and I'm like that's amazing. Like that's it. Like that's and Daddy doesn't have time for the 5-year-old kid's metaphysics right now because he does have to earn a salary, but it could change how we look at that. It could change how we look at large gatherings. It could change how we look about how we work in general. it's going to have this impact that is going to make it very hard. I mean, look, 20 years after 9/11, and we're still like okay with taking our goddamn shoes off because one guy tried to do a shoe bomb once.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. People are afraid of these things they can't control and these invisible threats, and it's going to be a very long time before a mass number of people are willing to do something like Comic-Con or Gamescom again. And I think that's just human nature.
And I mean, you start extrapolating that out. A lot of my friends are DJs, and that is how they make their living. It's what they've been doing for 30 years. It's the only thing they can do. They're my age. They're not like 21-year-old kids who can be like, oh, that sucks. I'll just learn this instead and do a career in this. Like, that's when you get to a certain age, it's very hard to pivot like that. So I have friends who, their living depends on people feeling comfortable around thousands of other people. And they're all pretty much at the point where they're just like, it may be over. And I have friends who throw big music festivals with literally 200,000 people. I mean, that whole industry may be gone. It's just until
it won't be gone forever, but it'll be gone for a while.
I mean, again, people are not going to feel comfortable until there's a vaccine, until they know that if they were to get it, that they could get something and they're not going to die.
Well, and that's why these steps right now, the preventative steps, are so important because what you're slightly talking about, Shane, is a second hump, is what they call it. Is, when people think they're comfortable and they start going out again and re-socializing, then the virus may pop up again and have a second hump. It may not be as big, but it will be there. And so it's all about the preventative and just how soon is that second hump going to appear and how significant will it be will decide how people will be comfortable when it comes to socializing again.
I guess what I'm getting at is...
the way it's probably going to roll is like you're going to have... I don't know if anyone's going to actually sound it all clear. I don't know if anyone's going to take responsibility for doing that. It'll be probably more piece by piece, governor by governor or something like that, or maybe even city by city. But like there will be huge parties and everybody will, we're free, da-da-da-da-da, and then a second spike will happen and it will have to put back this shelter-at-home order, and after that, people will be paranoid about it for the remainder of the time until the vaccine can be proven effective.
I think what I'm getting at is right now we're discussing Gamescom 2020 and E3 2020 and Comic-Con 2020, and I don't even think that we should be discussing those anymore. I think the real discussion is E3 2021, Gamescom 2021, Comic-Con 2021. Are those going to happen? That to me...
I don't know.
I mean,
I think it's a little optimistic to think that the Olympics are going to happen in 2021.
Exactly. Like, I wouldn't count on anything right now. And, a show like Gamescom, they make all their money from ticket sales, people coming, because, the general public can go there. Are they going to go? Hell no, they're not. So I think, discussion over stuff like this happening or not happening this year, I just think it's a moot point. I just don't see it. Even, like, sporting stuff like NHL and NBA, NFL... Like, I think the only way they're going to be able to restart those things is if they play in empty arenas. Like, I just don't see 20,000 people feeling comfortable enough to go into an arena and watch a sporting event. Or 80,000 people in a football stadium. I just don't.
Yeah. So what is life like for you as a giant sports fan to have no sports?
Well, it's not like...
Is it weird?
It's very weird. It doesn't bother me that much because I have so many other things that I'm interested in. So it does suck. Like, right now the NHL playoffs would be just about to get started. And, I love that. Hockey's my favorite sport. And, the Penguins probably would have made the playoffs and I'd be gearing up for that. But, I have so much other stuff that I enjoy. Like, since I launched SIFTD, I haven't really been able to, like, DJ or produce music much. So, I'm never bored. Ever. I cannot remember the last time I was bored. As soon as I finish something, I have 20 other things.
I'd love to be bored again.
Yeah, I just don't. I have so many interests that take up so much time, and I don't really have time to do them anymore because of SIFTD. So if I were to have any downtime, and I haven't since this all happened, it's actually been crazier because Mitch has got here, and we've been doing more content and outputting more. I'm working more than ever. So it's been a good distraction, I think. I think if we hadn't kind of done SIFTD 2.0, and we hadn't kind of shifted gears and been doing a lot more stuff, then maybe it would bother me more than it has now. But honestly, I just don't even have time to think about it. I do feel bad. Like, I'll flip on ESPN at night, and I'm just like, y'all are screwed. They're screwed. Like, there's nothing they can do. Like,
Yeah,
they
the
have a
only-
whole business built on something that's probably not going to exist for the next, 18 months.
Time
Well,
to
the only
trickle
thing
down on the marble racing.
Well, the only thing that's really helping them keep existing is the NFL is still going. Like, I think they spent 4 hours on free agency,
Yeah.
and they never would spend. They maybe would spend 2.
It's
but
not enough, though.
4.
That's not
And it's
enough to float a whole
No,
network.
Absolutely, and I think even there's the threat of baseball being canceled
Oh,
because
it is going to be canceled.
I would not be surprised if
Oh,
it's
yeah.
canceled because playoffs are in the fall, and
Yeah.
so you can't have a 1 month
Probably not going to
season.
be an NFL season.
No, I really don't think there will be. If they do, they'll play the games in empty stadiums. And they may very well do that because
could.
the NFL
Yeah.
in particular
Too
does
much money not to.
Well, the thing with the NFL is it doesn't really make any money off of ticket sales. The NHL lives or dies based on how many people come to the games live. The NBA, to a lesser extent, but still a big deal. The NFL, the money that they make from ticket sales is nothing. They make all their money from their TV deals. So if they can figure out a way to still have their games on TV, but people can't go to them, they will absolutely do it because that's where all the money comes from.
Also, this year's Game Awards is just going to be Jeff Keighley sitting next to a Yule log listing winners.
I mean, it might be, honestly. Like, it may be.
Yeah.
Remember the one year, didn't we do, G4 in a basement or something? No, the VGAs were in a basement the last
yeah, the
year.
VGX, like the one
Yeah.
first year after Spike, like it was just like in a basement, and Joel McHale showed up and said everything sucked.
I mean, that's probably what we're looking at for events going forward. In all
Or
honesty.
even something like the iHeart Music Awards were supposed to be out, and instead they did at-home performances where artists would basically video phone a performance instead of doing it live on the stage. That could be something maybe the Game Awards might start looking into in regards to awarding the winners. They would let them know ahead of time, and then they could do that interviewer exception of the award on Skype.
Yep, they're going to have to get creative. That's all there is. Everyone is. We're going to have to. Starting with next week, we're going to have to get creative in how we keep doing GameFace. And it's just the way it is. I'm not moaning or whining about it because everyone's in the same boat. We all just have to roll with the punches and figure out a way to make it happen.
It's a good thing we've had
crazier than others.
15 years of. It's a good thing we've had 15 years of low budget internet production stuff to get us ready for what entertainment's going to be now.
It's true. That's all YouTube was this whole time. It was just preparing us for our isolated future. So anyway, I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. And right now, Gamescom isn't technically canceled, but do not buy flights to Germany. Do not book a hotel room. I don't think there is any way in hell that Gamescom 2020 is going to happen.